I would like to welcome you to the session with the beautiful name, Learn How to Use the New Libraries in SAP Cloud ALM. Based on the title, you are already excited, because now you know for sure there will be library in Cloud ALM. And that's already a good reason to party. Okay, for the next 45 minutes now, we will try to keep you busy. Me, Michael, and Axel together explaining you the capabilities of libraries in SAP Cloud ALM. So that's our agenda. Let's go quickly through that. So I will try to explain you the library service. Is it too loud, by the way? Am I too loud? No. Can you hear me over there? Good. By the way, whenever you have a question, just raise your hand and ask. So, library service introduction and the view. What do we plan, or what Axel is planning? Then we will jump into the application library, configuration library, development library, its boring activity and interface library, almost all the same. But then we will jump into roadmap and vision. And right after that, we do Dementi. Just for all these German-speaking people, Dementi. Okay. We thought about few questions where you will be able to answer. So what is your best guess? And give us some input how we should design that finally for the future. So bear with me, stay with me, don't go out, and focus on library service introduction, integration, and division. Let's go into that. Beside the solution processes, which you have already seen several times in few sessions, you know already that there are some solution processes in place in Cloud ALM. Beside that, we will, and we already have, something what we call a library. And indeed, there is just one library, but there are several types of this library. So if you are coming from the solution manager world, where we had several different libraries, here we have just one library, big surprise, but different types inside. Great stuff. So we have solution activities, we have applications, we have configuration, development, and interfaces. And all this is building the foundation, the basement, which is used to create solution processes. And all these elements are reusable, as I mentioned, and scope independent. Very important information. Scope independent. Now, when you use the library elements, you can link them to each other, as you are used to do that, for example, in Solution Manager as well. So, you can assign applications into solution activities or to the interfaces. You can look at the configuration and you can describe their configuration which is required for development, interface, application, or solution activities. So you will be able to assign the configuration type of library into all the other types as well. If we go further, development library, or the development elements will be able to be assigned to applications, to solution activities, or to interfaces. And then finally, all the library elements will build the solution processes. And there is one very, very important information on this slide already. And you are looking at that and probably not seeing that information. But it's quite fat there. At the reference, the library elements will not differ from the originals from the library. What does it mean? let us jump quickly into the beautiful world of SAP Solution Manager, the past, where you could create process step, and you can name it create sales order, and you use this process step as a reference to build a process, and you decide, oh, here it's called completely different, so I change the name. I changed attributes, or even I put additional documentation which is just relevant for this reference in this business process. In this case, it's simplified. And that's something what you have to digest. You will be able to attach document from the solution process into the library element, but indeed it will not be assigned at the reference, but always in the original. I hope you see that as a beautiful simplification. We have already one fan of that. But that's even our Menti, the Menti thing, where you will be able to say how excited you are about exactly this fact. Good. Once you understood that, we go further. Now, what is inside of those libraries? Application is another word for executable. So it's just the old good transaction or the Fiori application or anything else. You can assign that to a system group by reflecting that this particular application is running in this single S4 instance, or you can just keep it without the system group assignment, and then you keep it very high level. Now, if you go to configuration, that's the most complex library we have. It's simply giving you the possibility to document configuration, and the configuration could be of several types. We'll come to that later on. Now, development, as the name says, is used to reflect all the developments which you would like to document in your process landscape. You may, you don't have to, so no one is forcing you. There is a possibility, we will come to that, to make that manually or to upload that by Excel. Then, we have libraries dedicated for activities, which are simply all the process steps or the activities from the solution processes, but extracted in the library, giving you the possibility to document them, to assign applications and so forth in the library directly. And finally, we have the interface library, which collects all kind of interface information which you would like to bring into this tool. So compared with Solution Manager, it's very similar. It behaves something a little bit different, but it's very, very similar. Now, let's take a look into the library object itself. What is possible in there? You will see in the beautiful demo made by Guru, because to be very honest with you, I was just asked to present PowerPoints because I am not a techie. I don't even know how to log on to the system. So that's the part of our technical guy, Axel. I am just a PowerPoint man. So what we have in there is the general information on every single object type in the library. So you could enter context there. Like, for example, which library type are we looking at? Is it application, configuration, development, or do I need the system group assigned to that object or not? You can assign the object, like, for example, Fiori ID, and further information like, for example, application type, application ID, that's what I mentioned before. You are able to describe on very high level what is this object about. For configuration, it makes sense because then you can describe, okay, that's for configuration of service order types or similar things. Not a document, but just high-level description what it is all about. And then you can build relations. and you can relate the elements into project task, process hierarchy, documents, and solution activities, as always. Great. Let's jump into the first library type, which is already now available. For all those who already have beautiful tenant of SAP Cloud ALM, who is it? Who has already? Very good. I'm so thankful that you are not sleeping. Thank you very much. So almost all of you have the access to the tenant. So if you would look at your tenant very, very close, then you would see already right now exactly the availability of the application library. And the application library can reflect or can collect the information about the Fiori transactions or URLs as executables. It can have the descriptions as we have seen before. It can be assigned to the project task and can be documented by specific documentation assigned directly to the library element. And as always, so it's valid for all the types of libraries. It's possible to enter them manually or to just upload it by Excel. And now, I would like to hand over to Axel, just to show you that in reality.
Thanks, Michael. Yes, I'm the weird nerd in our team, I understand. So I hope I can show you the application with the same passion as you did. Yeah, so the library service is already available in all Cloud ALM tenants, but we hide it a little bit because we just want to give customers option to use it as they want it, but not really release it in a kind of big bang. So bring more features into the libraries and then make it also available. However, you can use it already today in the implementation group of your Launchpad. One option is to search for it, but you can also go to the App Finder, and here you just look for a library, and then you add it to your Launchpad, and then you have a tile available, which is called Libraries. So, when we are going into the library service, we can currently create applications, but in the future you will also be able to create configuration libraries, interface library, development library, and so on. So I will give you a quick introduction how this is work, and basically it will work for all libraries in the same fashion. So let's create a simple application here. So you can first of all select the library type. We want to create an application, but you see already how you can change the library type. So based on the selection of the library type, you can then select the element type, the application type you wanted to create. So there's Fiori application, program, classical transactions. We still need this, for the time being. And URLs. So let's start here with an example of URLs. And so I use here the example of, let's make it simple, sub4me. So you see you can optionally give an application ID. This is up to you. But more important is the entity of system group. It's still optional, but the system group is something which is representing the logical component group from Solution Manager. So this is the related system landscape at the end. In the future, this will allow you to the forward navigation into the system where you want to execute, where you want to test the application, where you want to maybe demo the application. So this is the foundation here where you bring together the application and the system landscape. The creation of a system group happens in the project and setup of Cloud ALM. So this is probably known. If not, you can have a look there. I will not go into detail. I just created here a demo system group, my S4HANA demo. And then we can also enter here an URL. com/home to show you a little bit the use case. You see also we have built this application based on Fiori elements. This means you have by default a draft handling, so I can work on this. It's immediately saved, yeah, and you see the draft is updated, and I can create now this application. Yeah. You get also then an internal ID, you get some information who have created this, when it was created, and then we have also our cross-relation concept. So you know, in Cloud ALM we always build entities which we like to link cross. So here I like to give you an example of how to link an application to a task. Yeah? For sure you can also give a description, but these are things which are, I would say, low-brainer. So I have created here a project, a demo project, and a demo task where I can now just link this application to a task. And now we have built this relation, and from here I can now navigate into the project and task management. Yeah? In the future there might be use cases potentially like you have a configuration transaction or other integration aspects into the library where the integration into the task management makes a lot of sense, but we will also learn that we have a lot of other integration aspects. However, I'm now in my task management, I have linked this application, and I can already launch this application here from the task via this icon. I can click on it, and I jump into my URL. In this case, is the sub for me. And yeah, that's pretty simple. And I also see here the application related to this task, and I can navigate back here. So, this is the very basic, very simple task of creating an application. But you might want to upload applications in a mass way. Probably you want to download them from your managed system, out of what is configured in the Fiori Launchpad. Maybe from Solution Manager you want to upload your executables. Therefore, we have built an Excel mass upload. You can use a predefined template where you just enter your applications, and then you can upload this Excel file to your system. Okay, 6 applications, and I come to this point. And now you see here I have uploaded a lot of applications. You can use here the show more information. And you see, for example, here I have uploaded a transaction or a Fiori application. So very simple. And what I also have done is I have uploaded the relation to the process hierarchy. So we have learned that we have the process hierarchy in place to connect business processes or solution processes to the process hierarchy. And also I can bring a relation of my applications to the process hierarchy from a library point of view. Yeah? And yeah, then we can also use one of these Fiori applications. For example here, let's see if the forward navigation works. Okay, this was a bad example, but you see now I'm navigated into the S4 system, and this is basically what we want to achieve, what we all know from Solution Manager, which was very important, especially for test execution, for show and tell sessions, to have the forward navigation in place. So with this, I would say that's the first part of the demonstration for the application, and with this, then back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much. So I hope you see the parallels between the presentation and the real world. So I'm trying to say the truth. And now the truth will be even more impressive, because we are entering configuration library. And the configuration library is the most versatile library which ever existed in SAP Cloud ALM. Why? because it can reflect a lot of stuff. Well, if you go into Cloud ALM and create element of type configuration, you will be able also to select the category of the configuration. And one of the categories could be solution-independent configuration documentation or scenario-dependent configuration. Did I say twice the cell? Independent, dependent, so follow me. Authorization aspects, quite important stuff. Master data, organizational units, RISEFs, all that are already available categories which you can use in SAP Cloud ALM out of the box. Cool. You can, as always, describe that in the general description as shown by Axel, and you can assign that to the process hierarchy nodes, to the configuration activity, and also assign here directly the documents. Remember, just in the original, not at the reference. Cool. How does it relate to the old good world of SAP Solution Manager? Because one of the reasons why the libraries are existing in SAP Cloud ALM is that you would like to bring the old content from Solution Manager into the new beautiful world. And it relates very closely. Why? Because you see from Solution Manager the hierarchy in which the configuration units has been stored is absolutely going to the process hierarchy relation. The configuration unit will get configuration. The assignment of the configuration unit, in this case IMG activities, will be assigned to the configuration activity. And finally, the document will get assigned to the appropriate area in the assignment of the configuration. And if you understood this, then you will love what Axel will show you right now.
Okay, yeah, let's go into part 2. And maybe let me round up also the presentation from before, some general remarks on this UI. So as Michael told, we have bring the libraries, all the libraries into one UI. So you can manage all your libraries inside one UI. You're just working with different views. So I can here switch from a standard view where I see everything into an application view, a configuration view, interface view, Michael's view, my view. So you are very flexible in the future. Yeah? So, and what is also very nice, I think, and which I forgot to round it up, you can also save your view as a tile. So let me make a tile here, application library. Let's bring it into my home. And then let's go back. And you see now in my home, I have a tile with application library, and we have created how many? 7 already. So great. Okay. Then again, let's go back to our libraries. And now we are switching into the configuration view. You see, there's already one configuration element available. All the applications are gone. So different people with different interests can work based on these views. So let's start again. We create now a configuration. Yeah? So we go into the creation mode, select configuration library type. At the moment, we have only one element type. So we only work with configurations at the moment, but in the future we might extend it to CBC, so Central Business Configuration element types. So we are very flexible. This is just the foundation, I would say. So, and let me check my script here. Quality inspection role, yeah? And here I can now choose a category of my configuration. So we are working here in an authorization configuration. And again, the libraries always representing what is in my system happening. Yeah? So libraries are always system related, and therefore you should also bring them into a system group context. Okay, then we just create them. And as Michael told you, this is the shell. You can bundle now different configuration activities into a configuration. A configuration activity could be a configuration program, an IMG activity, whatever. So we call it a configuration activity. So in my configuration, I create a configuration activity which is called quality inspection, and I can also give you an object, could be an IMG object, could be a program inspection. I can't talk and write. So still it's authorization, and we create it. And then you see in the list, you have all these elements. But here in the Relations tab, you see my configuration quality inspection role have a configuration activity quality inspection. And now you can also attach other configuration activities. We can also bring relations to the process hierarchy. Yeah, I will also show you this. I can assign here now, for example, the process hierarchy for the QM. So I have this related here. Again, you can create task or relate task. You can also assign your documentation, because we might have configuration guides, so I can connect this to my library. So this is really, let's say, logical that we also allow relations in the library to our other entities in Cloud ALM. You see that we also start already working on relations to solution activities. We will have relations to solution processes. We might have relations to the feature to also enable the change control management and so on. So this gives you here a quick outlook or introduction on what is available by end of this month. Yeah? And with this, I would say I give back to you, Michael.
Fantastic. So maybe just to prove if I am techie or not, no, not this side, but this side. I'm not sure if you are aware what Axel was doing.
Thank you.
He created a configuration to document the authorization concept. And what he assigned right above is indeed the jump into PFCG transaction. I was told that's the transaction for authorization roles. Good, very good. So, quite good. And you see, it's very comparable to what you are used when you come out of the world of SAP Solution Manager, but in a beautiful, new, designed UI. I love it. Good. What I love as well are the other library objects, which starts with the development library. And there are no surprises at all. It's almost the same. So that's the place where you can collect all the development elements, whether you create that manually or you bring that by an Excel. And you can describe that, and you can link that to other elements like documents, hierarchy. It's almost following the same approach as everything what we have seen so far. There are two, yes, great question. And then I will come to you, because not everyone will hear you, and you are asked to question.
What is the difference between the configuration library and the development library if the configuration library contains RISEFs?
Well, thank you for the question, first of all. Yes. RISEF is a type of bundling of different elements, right? And you have seen that in the configuration, full stop, it's not configuration unit, but in the configuration, you can document several different types, not just IMG, but several different types, plus document. So it's very comparable to the solution manager, where you can create configuration unit, describing a mixture of, I created a program, I have my own IMG activity created for that, and I put the documentation, and that's my RISEF for something. So just a bundling element, while the development library is just the stupid list of all development elements which I am creating. Function, module, report, class, whatever, buddy, puppy, whatever. So that's the difference. That's the difference. But thank you very much for the question. Quite important. And then we have the two last types of activities so far, because right after this slide I will hand over to Axel back, and he will tell you even more exciting information. Well, solution activity, as we have seen already in the fit to standard session, you have seen that we will have solution activity library and the interface library. And also, they are following the same idea, giving you the possibility to list all the solution activities or all the interfaces which you will use to represent your solution processes. And again, here you will be able to assign all the RISEFs. My activity, for this solution activity, I am using RISEF XYZ. And also this is following the same idea of small description with interaction to the hierarchy, to documentation, and so on, with the possibility to create that manually as a part of your solution process creation, custom process creation, or as a mass upload via Excel. Axel, you are looking so surprised. I'm getting nervous. Now I hand over to Axel.
Not surprised, no. Impressed by you.
Yes.
Impressed. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to use the opportunity also to give a little bit outlook on what is coming and what is our vision also with the libraries. I think this is quite interesting to understand in which direction we are going here. So first of all, so we have all now this information in the libraries available. We have bring them related to our process hierarchy. So it's just logical that we also allow to report these relations. So we have available this so-called process hierarchy assignment report already today, where you can see which solution processes, requirements, and so on related to my process hierarchy. And we are almost finished and will provide this soon, that you also can see which libraries, starting with the application library, are related to my process hierarchy, and then you get also an overview of which applications are related to which hierarchy node. So this is just around the corner, or already around the corner, and looking a bit more ahead. So what I showed you already, the application library initial release, this is already available for you. Yeah, everybody can use this in his tenant. What is also available is the so-called selective data transfer for the application library, aka executable library from Solution Manager. So you can download your executable library from Solution Manager and can seamlessly upload this into your application library. Yeah? Also with the relation to your process folder or hierarchy folders, and this is already available. The configuration library is still work in progress. We almost finished. What you saw is already prepared for our release. So the configuration library initial release is also ready for Q3 shipment. So this means by end of this month. And also the selective data transfer from the configuration library in Solution Manager is possible then. Next quarter, we wanted to provide you the interface library from Michael introduced, the development library, and also we wanted to support the selective data transfer for this. And by next year, we have some other enhancement plans, so mass maintenance, for example, changing the system group of your applications, providing also APIs, very important, because our friends from Signavio, LinaX, central business configuration, they are already around the corner and want to use this data, and also we want to take their data, bring them into our system. Yeah? And for sure, we want to enhance the relations, as I said, to the solution processes, to the features, and so on. And talking about a little bit the vision where we wanted to go, this is highlighted with this slide here. So you see here around this library concept where we want to have further integration aspects where I told you, is this working here? Yeah, LeanIX, Signavio, they are very interested. We are already in contact. Signavio, the dictionary, they are very interested into the application library, for example. The solution activity library is very interesting for them. LeanIX is interesting in our system groups, interface relations. The relation or integration into the Fiori app library, so taking a Fiori app from the Fiori app library into Cloud ALM is very important, that the test management can use applications, interface monitoring, interface discovery, what we know from Solution Manager. They are all things which are on our plate for next year, and I hope many other years that we can work on this functionality. Yeah, but you see also library generation, all these famous things we had in the past. We want to continue in a more maybe simple or advanced way, but this makes a lot of sense still for us. Okay, now we wanted to also have some feedback from you in terms of the libraries. I think many of you know the concept of Solution Manager libraries and how we can reuse them, how we can change the behavior. Michael introduced this already to you, and we wanted to ask you some questions here and curious for your feedback. So you already know how it works, perfect. So you can scan this code and there should be some questions. Let me try. Okay. Clear. Oh, I hope I was not too fast. So is this working? Can you enter some words into the Mentimeter? So you should be able to include now some random words, which libraries you would like to see in Cloud ALM in the library services. Is it working, Emre? Oh yeah, ooh. Process steps, test cases, roles. Yeah, nice. Business roles, very good example. So using in our diagrams for the lanes, business roles makes a lot of sense. Please know, that's a weird library. Test step. Test cases, test steps. I would say this is handled in the test management already. They will also be becoming more, let's say, process and scope independent. So they will also representing a kind of library. And the process steps, for example, are represented in Cloud ALM by the solution activities already. Is the S-Pro IMG, so this is possible with the configuration activities. Okay, nice, so this works good. We will keep this, we will discuss this internally. Roles from BPMN, I mentioned this already, authorization roles, perfect. I think you got it. So, next question. Would you like to use library originals and references in a unified behavior? So this means no differences on the name or assignment. So this means we harmonize the usage of library elements inside, for example, the process context. Oh, here, this is a... Oh, surprising. Maybe we have asked the wrong question. Means no. Means yeah, it's too many consultants here, too many experts. So, if no unified behavior is required, which differences between library originals and references should be allowed? So, should we allow different assignments, for example, on documents, on the reference and on the original? Or should we allow at least the different names on the original and references? Or is it enough just to have different tags on the library original and the reference? Okay. Here it would be also good to have some numbers at the end. Yeah. Okay. And I think with this, there's no other question. And we can go back to the presentation. And then I think we have still some time for Q&A. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Axel and Michael, for the presentation. I have a couple of questions about the libraries. Within the solution manager, we were able to generate the library elements automatically.
Yeah.
And my question is, I cannot imagine going and entering this information manually, for developments such as S/4HANA. So what is the other way? Can we import these objects from best practices? How can we populate the data within the library or different groups of libraries? That's my first question. And the second question is, so what we have seen the library types based on S/4HANA type, but what about the applications such as Concur, Ariba, and how are you planning to organize that within the same framework?
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So first question, how we bring in applications from, for example, best practices and next to the library generation. So we still want to have the library generation because this is the simplest way, it's an automated way. It's based on the customer usage. So this is still what we wanted to do. We also will import applications from the best practice content of S/4HANA public cloud. At the moment, they are providing this information. As soon as other, let's say, best practice content also provide this information, we will also support this in the import of Cloud ALM. So this is still possible, and also you can still use the Excel upload for mass upload of this information. So this is still possible. Second question, applications like Ariba, SuccessFactors, so these are not really application types. They are more or less using URLs. Yeah? So therefore we say we have this URL application type which you can document. However, SAP's overall strategy is going into Fiori. Yeah? So SuccessFactors, Ariba, they will more and more bring their application into Fiori, and then we have also this application. But until then, we will provide this URL functionality. Yeah? Mark?
Thank you. Which would be the step-by-step to document a new development, a new program for instance, because in Solution Manager, you would create the set development, the program, then you would create a configuration unit, attach the documentation to the configuration unit maybe, and then assign the configuration unit to this development. And that is kind of difficult to explain to the people and so on, so it's also referencing the question from behind. They will tell you probably, why not just creating the development, the program, and then assign the documentation directly to it?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of makes sense. So I don't know which is the idea in Cloud ALM.
Yeah, I would take this more as a feedback rather than a question, that we provide more guidance, for example, to what the customer should do. At the moment, what I show you is a lot of different options, same we had in Solution Manager, and we have to provide more guidance how to work, best practices in general, I would say. This is not only applicable for the libraries. In general, we need to a bit better prepare our best practices, really what to do in which sequence. So at the moment, I have not really the real answer, yeah? So we have to work this out in a clear best practice document. Yeah? Okay.
You showed in the configuration library the possibility to say it is an authorization stuff or it is a RISE of stuff. And if I choose the RISE of possibility, will there be more possibility to say this is really a form or an interface or anything like this to use it really for a RISE of documentation? Or do we have to use text for this or anything like this?
So there is no more attributes at the moment, but we have the tags also here available, so you can use the tagging. I think this is quite applicable to use it for this. Yeah, I didn't have showed it, but you can tag at the end your configuration activity is a form, is a report interface. So this would be the go-to approach here.
Yeah. Okay.
We had this question already, I think, when you presented the configuration element or library. It's difficult to explain. Was already difficult to explain in the Solution Manager times. Why did you choose to stick to the term configuration? Have you discussed other terms? Setup. Setup instead, because you set up roles, you set up IMG, you set up RISEF to describe a RISEF content and ways to do setup. Just
I mean,
outside the box thinking.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. It's sometimes difficult handling names at SAP. Yeah, we have a lot of fights for application library already. But you see also we have other applications where we are related to central business configuration. And then you see, then you have again a clash. So it's tough, but I got your point. But it's at the moment like this. But the idea is at the end the same, or the capabilities.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I have a couple of questions. So the first one is, now, is the tasks library the successor for the process step library?
No. The task, no, the task library, I'm a little bit confused. No, the task, I would say the task we have in Cloud ALM, this is simply what we had before, task. Yeah? So you can have task inside a project. What we have introduced, the solution activity, is, let's say, the successor of the process step library in Solution Manager. So inside the processes, when you're drawing a diagram, you can use solution activities from the library to avoid duplicates, to avoid or reduce redundancies. You can reuse and solution activity inside your diagrams. So, yeah, this is how I would answer this question.
Sometimes called also in the diagram as a task. You are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Activity, it's a process that has several names, and we just pick one. Or
So like process step, original process step reference. So this all now sits in the processes app, or?
No, process steps, becoming solution activities first of all, so the process steps don't exist anymore, and they becoming part of the solution activity library in Cloud ALM. It's their own library which is represented these elements.
Is not part of the whatever you showed in that slide, right?
There was activities. Actually, my presentation is frozen. Here. Here you see the solution activities.
Ah, okay.
Yeah? So you can assign applications in the future to this or other entities.
Okay, and the behavior in Solution Manager was like if I create a process and then I want to create a process step from that level, it creates it as a reference and then creates the original directly, or I can create the original and then reference it to the. So is it gonna be the same
Yes.
approach?
It works in the same. You, as a, let's say, process modeler, you can go into your diagram and say, I want to create a new solution activity. You can create it inside the diagram. It's automatically created in the library and referenced to each other. So this is very, I would say, simple and user-friendly, and we had this in the past already.
Okay.
Maybe not so much clicks.
Thanks.
Here, Kai, here vorne.
Thank you. I'm confused with the idea. We have Signavio, and we have components there, like an application, and we have LenaX that handles applications, and now I have a third place where I can document or maintain or create the entity of my application. Mm-hmm. Let's imagine I start at 0. Where would which one is the leading one? Which one should I create? And then just reference from the other entity, so I don't have to do it twice.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you need to understand, or you need to see not every customer at the end have LenaX, have Signavio. I mean, we from SAP wish this, everybody pay these products. But at the end, we offer with Cloud ALM a standalone solution. So we need the libraries for our application lifecycle management. So standalone, you have to use them. And if a customer wants to use also LenaX and Signavio, the system has to talk to each other. I mean, this question is valid, no point. But the question is also valid for solution processes. I have diagrams in Cloud ALM, I have diagrams in Signavio. I have systems in Cloud ALM, I have systems in LenaX. So there is always a purpose of having this information in all the systems. We need them for what we are doing there. They need to talk to each other. We need to exchange information, and this in a logical and simple way for the customer. But all these tools have the purpose to use this, yeah, for their objectives at the end. Yeah?
Okay, then my feedback would be just in the future to link them,
yeah,
so you don't have to do it twice.
Exactly. So we talked already with LenaX to take their interface information, or they take our interface information from Cloud ALM because they are mostly SAP-related interface documentation. They have also the non-SAP interface documentation. They bring it together. Yeah? We are maybe not interested in these interfaces, and they use it for a pure documentation stuff for the organizational point of view. We wanted to test them. We want to bring them into business context, into an application lifecycle. So yeah, they exchange this information in the future. Now.
But that doesn't answer the question of the person who should be the leading module. I mean, or is there a name range where or you say, okay, you can use Signavio for the process definition, and all the details should be in the libraries, or what is the concept behind that?
So at the moment, it's
and LenaX as consumer, at the end consumer maybe. Something like that, I mean.
Yeah, it's not available yet, so we have to figure out this, yeah? At the end, when we are going for the library generation, I think most of this application will consume it from our side, because we can generate it, but it's limited. We only have it for the SAP stuff connected to Cloud ALM, yeah?
Maybe let me add.
Oh, sure.
Because Michael sent me here. Now, when Signavio is in place, then for the application we are leading, for the activities within the diagram, that's then Signavio play. Because the activity of the process itself is where the process is modeled. That's Signavio side. So the owner there is Signavio. We synchronize that then over into our library. And the other way around, the applications belong to us. They are interested in application information, then we replicate that over, but we are the owner then of the application.
Okay.
My last question, Michael, and you as well. In the previous version of Solution Manager, we were keen about the naming conventions. So the naming conventions were very important when we were documenting. I mean, we had different type of framework, but we paid a lot of attention to the naming convention. Here we see a very unified platform, UI screen. Any recommendations, any things you can recommend to the community regarding the naming conventions? Are they not important anymore? That's my question.
It's about naming convention. If we have a naming convention in place.
Yeah. From my perspective, it's absolutely the same. So you could go absolutely the same way using the same name conventions. We proposed the same for the documents last year. You were not there, where you have to bring up a name convention for example, documents as well. Exactly. And that would be, again, the best practice. One day, when we are so far, the documentation will be available, how to handle that the best way. So the best practice to use that piece of software will be available. Yeah, but it applies absolutely the same as it was in Solution Manager, because it's mainly the same. It looks slightly different, it's more modern, but from handling, it's absolutely the same.
Okay, I think we are already over time, or?
We would like to remind you, there is a whiskey tasting down there. Keep thinking about that before, but we have another question.
My last question was, is that now the future of solution documentation, the library element, and where are the branches?
How do you mean that?
Solution documentation is an element in the library.
Okay, they're going into one-to-one.
Thank you very much. Don't forget to rate it.
Thank you.